Hello everyone, this is Rakesh Kumar Meena, Assistant Professor, Government College Rajgarh, and today I will explain the poem Ode to the West Wind written by P.B. Shelley. In my previous video lecture, I have taught you that this poem Ode to the West Wind is divided in 5 stanzas of 14 lines each. Each stanza has 3 tercets and a closing couplet. The poem is written in iambic pentameter. In this video lecture, I will cover the first section of this poem Ode to the West Wind. So now I am going to start the poem. In this first section of the poem, the poet Shelley writes, "O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven, like goats from enchanter's fling, yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence-stricken multitudes." In these lines, the poet invokes the west wind. The west wind is described as destroyer and preserver, sweeping away the dried leaves and preserving the seeds for the regeneration of the earth in spring. The west wind appears to Shelley one of the invisible force of nature. The poet called the west wind as the vital essence of the autumn season. The west wind is invisible. The invisible west wind is chasing away dry leaves, just as the magician put the goats to flight. Just as ghosts are blown away by the wand of an enchanter, the dried up dead leaves of trees are blown away in autumn by the west wind. The west wind is mighty like an enchanter. It is mysterious and invisible, just as the spiritual force of the enchanter is invisible. The dry dead leaves are yellow and black and pale and dimly red. Their color shows redness of decay and disease. The dead leaves, which are dimly red and pale, are blown off by the wind, just as crowds of people struck by some fatal epidemic disease are driven away from their town by their fear of epidemic disease. In these lines, the Shelley has very beautifully used simile when he compares the dead leaves with ghosts. In the next lines, the poet writes, "O thou who cheritest to their dark wintry bed the winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion over the dreaming earth, and fill driving sweet birds like flocks to bed in air, with living hues and odors plain and hill." The whole stanza is an invocation to the west wind, whose powers and attributes are enumerated. The poet addresses the west wind as destroyer and preserver, sweeping away the dry leaves and preserving the seeds for the regeneration of the earth in spring. In these lines, the poet describes the power of the west wind as the preserver of seeds. The west wind scatters the winged seeds and drives them to their dark, cold beds under the earth. There, like dead bodies, the seeds lie in their graves, unable to move or rise till the spring season comes. The poet calls spring the sister of autumn and of the west wind. But while autumn is dull and gloomy, spring is marked by light breezes and blue skies. So the spring comes with its light breezes and blue skies. She blows her trumpet in order to awaken the sleeping earth. With the coming of the spring, nature wakes to a new life. Hence, the poet imagines that the spring blows a trumpet in order to arouse the earth, just as a trumpet is blown to call soldiers to duty. On hearing the calls of the trumpet, the seeds comes out of their graves. The poet compares the spring to a shepherd. Just as a shepherd takes his flock of sheep to the fields in order to gauge them, similarly, the spring drives the seeds out of the buds in which they are shut in the open air. With the coming of the spring, birds and flowers begin to bloom and feed in the air, just as sheep roam about and feed in the field. In a word, the spring will fill the valleys and hills with birds and flowers which have beautiful color and sweet smells. Here the poet very beautifully used similes and metaphors to express his thoughts. In the last two lines, the poet writes, "Wild spirit, which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, hear, O hear." In the lines, the poet again addresses the west wind. He calls it an untamed spirit because it is making itself felt all over the land. He addresses it as destroyer and preserver, both. It is a destroyer because by driving the rotten leaves before it, the wind breaks them up and scatters them into the small pieces which are lost. It is a preserver because by scattering and driving the seeds to their underground beds, the wind preserves the seeds which later sprout into plants. To this west wind, which is a destroyer and preserver, the poet appeals that his words may be heard. The lines are an invocation to the west wind. With this is the end of the first section of the poem Ode to the West Wind. In my next video lecture, I will cover the second section of this poem. Thank you and goodbye.